Hi, everyone. Let me just keep an eye on ads running. Okay. So I do have the Twitch page up, so I will know if there is an ad coming. So at least I can plan accordingly. But yeah, I guess you could subscribe to Twitch or to me, and you wouldn't have to worry about that. But I'll try to snooze them if they come up. I am not streaming live on YouTube yet, but I did get the channel set up. I did get the week 1 video uploaded. And so hopefully this week I'll have some time to automatically stream to that. Facebook, I need like 100 followers to be able to stream on Facebook Live. So not there yet, but I could be one day, maybe. Hey Ross, how are you doing today? All right. As far as what's going on, not too crazy. Could be worse. Yeah, I'm feeling that. So I mentioned, oh, okay, whatever. I mentioned this, I think, last week, because it was just coming by my radar, but I'll expand upon it a bit more now. So Google has always tried to hide how it does things from people who work on search engine optimization, which in some ways is smart. And I say that because there are a lot of bad people in marketing. And so if you're not giving people the information on how to manipulate the algorithm, that deters them somewhat from manipulating the algorithm. But it's also good to know what you're doing when you're a marketer. So it's a very tough struggle for SEOs and for Google. And what came about recently, about just less than 2 weeks ago, was, as I mentioned last week, the um, Google was making it more difficult to get the top 100 search results, which for people doing searches, as we discussed, that's not a big deal. Nobody looks past the first page. It may be the second if it's really obscure. But for other people, people with tools that are trying to understand what pages get caught for what keyword, get pulled for what keyword, it was useful. Now, it's been pointed out, and I think rightly, it's not necessarily that useful knowing that a page is in the top 100, because a page that's placing at position 90 is not necessarily where you're going to focus. It's pages and keywords that are in like the top 20 that are the best use of your time as someone who does search engine optimization, right? So, is it that big of a deal? Probably not really. But it does affect the way that we're used to seeing things. I just did a monthly report for someone over the weekend, and I definitely saw it. Like the Google Search Console impressions were about the same last month and this month, but the click through rate was much higher this month, um, which is good, you know, but what I kind of see happening is it's just going to throw our talking points off a little bit. I'm used in my head to thinking, okay, 3 to 5% click through rate is good. But if we have a severe drop in impressions, a good click through rate is going to be much higher. So, what is a good click through rate now? I don't know. I don't know the number for that. 10%, 20%? Um, so, it's just going to take a little bit of time for those numbers to kind of process so we know like what is a good result and what's not a good result, which is going to make my job a little harder, um, because businesses and clients already don't have clear expectations a lot of the time. So being like, I don't know what's good anymore, not going to inspire a lot of confidence. Google going to Google. And recently they actually also hired an anti-scrapper expert. Um, so they're just like actively working hard. And so that just means a lot of tools that I use and people like me, they scrape the result pages to try to understand. Scrapper. Yeah, you're right. Scraper should only be one P. uh, at least I think so. Because, yeah, they're working against tools scraping the search results so that they can analyze how Google is working, because Google doesn't want people to know how they're working. So it's just they keep fighting. Um, and I don't know what to think of it. Um, if anything, like, kind of leads me to what point number 2 here, the whole internet is dead theory. Um, which it just always makes me think of the Squall is dead theory from Final Fantasy VIII. But the internet is dead is like that most users on the internet are actually just robots, or if not robots, fake accounts to boast numbers or um, boost numbers. Yeah, I don't know English right now. So to boost numbers or for nefarious purposes too. Um, spam websites, um, any of those things. And I'm beginning to, I don't know, I guess believe that more and more. Not too long ago, Twitch banned a lot of bots, and that took a big chunk of viewership away from big accounts. As we talked with the first point, uh, robots were discouraged from pulling search results from 20 to 100, because it's more expensive. And accordingly, we're seeing huge drops in impressions. So most of the data marketers are working with is bloated data because of the amount of robots that are scouring the internet for information. So, no worries, Max. I'm gonna hit snooze again and see if I can not have ads run. We'll see how long that works. Welcome. So I don't really know what my takeaway with the whole bots are overpowering the internet thing is. Um, it's just there's a lot of evidence, and when I'm working with small businesses, it takes a long time to get enough traction and enough traffic to have statistically useful data. Because there are so many bots and there are so many factors when it comes to search and internet and marketing generally. So until you have a lot of data, you can't draw too many conclusions. And that makes small business SEO difficult, right? You want small businesses to see results, you want small businesses to get sales, um, but the evidence to create good content is a challenge. It absolutely is a challenge. You have to rely on averages from, national resources. This is what works for this kind of company generally, and use that as your primary um, guidance for strategy. So, I mean, the internet was made for bots. I can't really argue with that. Uh, but on that note, uh, personalization is also a major feature these days. Um, Younger generations, especially, like their marketing to be personalized. And so sometimes it's bots, sometimes it's AI, can help make personalization possible. So whether that is something simple, like merging someone's first name into an email, or something much more complex, you can get very elaborate data, uh, and it's a matter of resources. Do you have people fill out surveys about what they prefer, and then they can get content specific to those items? Do you build up a relationship with your consumer? How do you build up a relationship? Um, do you just use AI to do it? Maybe. Um, but then you kind of lack a human element, right? Is it just preying on people's need for socialization, and maybe we shouldn't do that? Uh, or because they want it, preference, say, okay, we'll use robots and use really complicated codes in our marketing and give you what you want. because you're the customer. Uh, what is the full phrase? So the customer is always right in matters of taste, something like that. Um, yeah, because there is a qualifier on the ad, uh, and so when it comes to the frequency and the types of email that customers get, right? That's just their taste, right? That's how they want to be communicated to, and okay, unless they've left. Haha, because it's right and left. So yeah, I again, I don't have the answer to this. Is the personalization of marketing a matter of taste or is it a parasocial issue? I don't know. Um, I can see both sides because I don't mind hearing from businesses, but not as often as they want to email me. They could email me less, that'd be great. But on the other hand, trying to personalize everything creates a sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Solipsism, I think is the word I'm looking for. That would be the extreme variety of it. Um, but making a world where individuals think that everything has to be about them and up to their preferences and taste sounds like a bad idea too. Uh, I saw a post on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, maybe even a few months ago, talking about how great uh, AI personalization in video games is, and you to have this custom experience, et cetera, et cetera. And like sometimes that's okay, but sometimes like that's not the point. Um, Sometimes it's okay for things to be different and perspectives to be different and you to be uncomfortable with things. Right? The world is not there to be about you. So, what is the answer to this? I also don't know. But this is what marketing is about right now and trying to figure this out. Um, where do we draw the line and where is what's healthy and what's not healthy? I think that is one reason why, if you're building a brand, whether it's your online channel or your business, um, but why it's so important to know who you actually want to talk to. There's a saying that goes, if you try to create whatever for everyone, you will write for nobody. Cannot actually make something that is all appealing. And I think that's healthier than over personalization because if you're constantly trying to tweak your copy or your brand so that everyone feels like it's personalized for them, then you no longer have a brand. Your brand is just appealing to someone else. That is what you will spend all your time doing. So As Syndrome puts it, when everyone is super, no one is. Oh, yeah, that's true. That was the line there. So, I have no conclusions this week, no brilliant insights, but these are questions that I'm struggling with, um, thinking about as I also struggle and think about next week. I have to talk about or at a Chamber of Commerce event on like digital marketing and AI and streamlining your business. And mostly I want to say don't, but I don't think that's what they want me to say. So uh, we're going to try and find a nice neutral pros and cons and what are some useful AI um, AI features um, that will help business owners and what maybe they need to reconsider their use of. Because any sufficiently advanced computer program is artificial intelligence, so don't be distracted by marketing now with AI. When everyone is someone, then no one's anybody. Now, magic, that I can get behind. Oh, there's an ad starting soon. Oh no. Um, so I will be wrapping up here. Hopefully you, uh, I don't know, found something thoughtful about today. Follow me on Twitch if you don't already. You can go to my Ko-Fi, and I'll be back next week, hopefully with whatever I'm going to be talking about at the Chamber of Commerce, and you guys can give me some feedback. All right, take care.